Hello everyone, it's Robin the Artsy Bohemian coming to you from my studio in Los Angeles, California. Welcome, thank you for coming and for subscribing. I do appreciate all of your comments. And speaking of that, I got quite a few comments wanting to show how to do the envelope. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna make this fun envelope that you can put inside of your junk journal if you want. And I don't want you to get too overwhelmed, especially if you're not a painter. This is more like child's play. It doesn't have to be serious, it's fun. So what you're gonna want is to get an old envelope or a new one. You don't have to use an old one. I just like old ones because they have a little bit more character, especially if they have postmarks on them. And you can just use some cheaper type of paints. I'm gonna be using kind of some bright tones here. You know, these are all available at Michael's or Joann's. I'm also going to use some aquarelle, the Neo color. These are really old. I've had these forever, but it's basically kind of like a Shiva paint stick, which I don't have. I just have these, so I'm going to use these. They're watercolor crayons, and so you don't want to use a regular crayon because it's waxy and it won't work, but that. If you have some India ink laying around, you can use that. You know, just a good old-fashioned India ink. And some washi tape. Try to use some washi tape that has a pattern that's not too distracting. And, you know, not something with like pictures of people on it, or more like geometric shapes work well. And something to put your paint in. And if you have any of these, a black ink pen, these are great because they're made with India ink, so they're super dark. If you have a Sharpie, try that too. So let's go ahead and start. I have a few pieces here that are in different stages because you have to wait for it to dry in between. So that wasn't gonna happen if I showed you in real time. So for those of you who just are coming to my channel, this is what I'm talking about. Last week I showed you a journal that I made and asked you if you wanted me to show you how to do these, because I kind of had fun just relieving some stress painting these, and a lot of you were like, yes, show us how to do that. So this is what we're gonna try to do. I'm gonna just kind of look at it and work off of it, because honestly I don't really remember sometimes what I do when I'm doing it. Also, if you want to have a towel by that's damp so you can wash your hands off, or a wet wipe, that'll work as well. I wanted to say thank you to Patricia Viramontes, I believe that's her name, who sent this to me. I'm going to be sampling this. I think it looks pretty cool. I might do a little bit of sampling today, but I want to do a whole project dedicated to it because I haven't played with it too much. So I will put her link down below so you can look. She has a great YouTube channel. Alright, so these envelopes already have a little bit of paint on them. I did put some gesso on them because they're old and flimsy. You don't have to do that. You just have to be a little bit more careful with the water, because it could kind of make them warped and tear. Yeah, so it's just a thin layer of white gesso on here. If you have clear gesso, that's fine too. So what you're going to do, if you don't have the like some kind of crayon watercolor, you can use a regular watercolor. It's just that it gets kind of wet, just so you know. And speaking of which, if you don't want to use an envelope, you can use regular, you know, it doesn't have to be like an expensive brand of watercolor paper. This isn't as expensive. But I kind of was experimenting on this too. And it just has paint on it. So the thing is you kind of want it to look something like this. It almost looks like a child did it. So this, I believe I did a mixture of watercolor crayons and some paint. And basically it's just, you want to lay down some fun colors, because then you're going to go back over it with broad strokes to make flowers, and then you're going to outline those flowers with the India ink. That's the basic of what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start doing this. Just act like you're a kid and you're just laying down colors. And because what's going to happen is we're going to smush them around. And that reminds me, I need to get my water. I have also water, a little container of water, and a few paintbrushes here, which we'll get to in a few minutes. So I have my container of water, and I do have a little bit of a spritzer of water here. So I'm going to do all of the colors. And you can just copy exactly what I'm doing here. So I think I'll do 2. Maybe I'll do this one with paints. This is just, all of these colors are neon, except this one. The green one isn't. It's called green apple. Probably not even around anymore, but yeah, so they're super bright. I'm not making any like definitive shape. These paints I like because they're cheap, so they're opaque. I mean, translucent. This green one isn't. So, because, like I said, you want to lay down kind of just a layer of color. Then you're going to go back in and block out areas so that you can see the flowers. Oh, another thing, I forgot to do this. You're going to put some washi tape down too. So that shouldn't take too long to dry. I think I'll add a few things of washi on here. And this isn't, you know, my idea. This is my take on ideas that I've seen other artists do. And since this is watercolor, it will kind of smush around with your fingers. Another thing I've done too, like on this one, it's kind of hard to see, but there's darker areas here, and I glued down some pattern paper. I like it because it's translucent and it just gives it some depth. I'm not putting a ton of water on here. I don't want it to take forever to dry, and I kind of like how if you don't put too much water, you're not going to get mud, meaning the colors aren't going to all bleed in together and make one ugly color. So I kind of want it to be not too much water on here for that reason. So I'm going to leave it like that. So go ahead and just work on this. So I should have put washi on these. This is kind of dry over here. I probably have to use a glue stick to make it stay, but I should have put washi on it first and then put some paint on it. I'm in the middle of launching a new class. If any of you are interested, you can look at my link down below for my school, the Artsy Bohemian online school. Not sure it'll be your cup of tea. It's a soldering bundle that I'm offering for one of my most popular classes, which is a sun catcher. You might have seen it on Pinterest. It's everywhere. So it's a basic soldering class to learn how to solder. And then the bundle has lots of bonuses and a brand new class that I haven't taught online yet. So if you're curious, just check it out. It might be something you want to do. If you're like me, you kind of are multidisciplinary and like doing lots of different mediums. So it's just kind of a fun thing. I mean, you could even, I have even taken some of my soldered charms and used them as journal jewelry on my journals. So I think what I'm going to do on this one too is I am going to add some of the watercolor sticks. So by putting these pieces of washi tape, it distracts your eye, and the same as when we make the actual flowers, and it kind of moves your eye into more of a pleasing way, so that you're able to focus better on the painting. It's kind of hard to explain, but let's see, I'll do this one. I will be offering, again, another online class, probably more to your liking. Those of you who follow me on my YouTube channel are mostly paper crafters, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below if you like doing lots of things like I do. I make jewelry and I do journals mostly, but I've been known to do all kinds of other things. So let me know what you like doing. If you like to quilt, if you like just journals. Oop, look at that. I'm making a mess. If you like to knit, crochet. Oh, I like how that's kind of fading into the background there. So this one's dry. I'm just gonna add some washi to this, and then I'll start adding the flowers on it. And then for those of you wondering how you would incorporate this, I will show you that at the end. Incorporate it into your junk journal. I had shown you a little bit the last tutorial, last Tuesday. So kind of curious what I can do with this. If I do something here. I think I'm going to use this on tags. And also, I'm kind of curious to know, there's people that do videos out there that don't do real time. They'll do kind of like a fast motion where they're talking over their tutorial, and I've always wondered if you guys would like that better. I've always just done the tutorials this way where it's in real time. I like both, to be honest. It depends on how much time I have during the day if I'm watching something. But when I want to relax and craft, it's kind of nice just to turn on some of my favorite YouTube crafters and just kind of craft along with them. So, just interested. Let me know what you think. Okay, so now I'm going to take some paint and let's see what I did here. Looks like I like this. So this paintbrush is kind of cool because it's flat and has a square or like a rectangle edge on it, and so it's easier for you just to do this and just make shapes like that. I'm going to take some of the green and just don't think too much about it, because this looks ugly right now, but it's going to look different when you start adding the black India ink. And I was going to practice on that, so I'm going to do this here. This really bright pink, and probably noticed I'm not cleaning my brush off. I kind of like how the colors mesh. It's too much paint. The only thing is you have to know when to clean your brush off. Otherwise you get mud. Yeah, so I don't know if you could tell, but this was just the background like we had been doing. And then I did the same thing. I did the brush strokes in different areas. And then when it's dry, that's when you're going to start seeing the shapes, because you're going to outline them with the marker. I'm just going to add a little bit of this blue color. So I'm cleaning my brush off now because it was getting a little bit too muddy. And I'm just going to do some little squigglies here. Just have fun. Don't overthink it. Act like you're a kid. Remember, I used to love art time when I was a little kid in elementary school. It was I just loved it. I had the most funnest time. I waited for that all day long. And you just don't think about it too much. Sure is relaxing. Kind of transports you into another realm. Okay, we're gonna let these dry. Alright, so this one's dry, and you're gonna take out your black ink pen. I'm gonna use the one that's a little bit thicker, just because it's such a nice vibrant black. And so this one is B. Like I said, if you have a Sharpie, that should probably work as well. So what I like to do is I like to hold my pen back here and just kind of start squiggling and just outline your flowers and kind of make the lines choppy. And you can bounce around like I am here. And this is still kind of the ugly face. Don't worry, it's gonna start. I'm gonna show you some ways to tighten it up and make it look a little bit nicer. And then what I'll do is I might go around and like outline just little bits here. You can start seeing things in here. Like, for example, on the sample that I don't know where it is now. Oh, it's right here. These little marks look like little crosses, so I just kind of outline them gently. And there's little blobs here that kind of look like flowers, even though there's really only 5 flowers on here. So you just kind of start making little squiggles. Not too many. You don't want it to be completely all covered in ink, but yeah, if you see little things in there, just kind of draw around them a little bit. And like I said, hold your pen back here. Don't do this. Hold it back here. It's all about kind of losing your grip and control over the outcome. So we have these are all slightly outlined, and now what you're going to do is you can put your hand down on the table so you have some leverage, and you're just going to like make like little lines coming out so it looks like the shadows of the flower. And you can do little dots here. And just a couple of areas you're going to make a darker mark with your pen. So say like right here on this line, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker so it gives me some depth. And a little bit here and a little bit here. And don't stay too long on one flower because you can get too caught up in how perfect it needs to look. And this one here, I didn't finish outlining this one. And make a line that's a little bit darker maybe here, and do a little couple lighter lines that go out from the center. And the key is to kind of keep the, there'll be like, I guess I'll try it on here, a light line and then a darker line. So you get some interesting shadows and effects and textures. See, I'm kind of darkening that up a little bit. And I'm going to do a couple little dots here and make it a bolder line like from the center out, and then maybe some smaller lines inside of the flower, kind of like radiating out. You can see how it's starting to come out now, so you can start seeing the actual flower. I'm going to make it darker here, and then just little tiny radiations going out. Darker and little tiny. I just had a flashback. I don't know what it was. I might do a couple dots there. And so what I might do on this, I might go back in with some more paint and do little splotches, and just to give it more interest. And my hand, I'm still holding the pen way back. And so you see the outline here, I'm kind of making a little bit of this area dark. I'm not going to make this whole area dark, I'm just doing parts of it. And it's kind of the same all over that way. That same concept. And by holding it back here, it makes the lines a lot less even and more unpredictable. There's these Posca, I don't know how you say it, pens that you can use too, so maybe I'll go in and see. Actually, that's not a Posca, but I'm just going to give this some highlights. These are kind of like a paint pen, so if you have anything that's comparable, or you can just go back in with paint. You have to make sure that the paint isn't wet. Like I'm kind of doing this too quickly. It'll stick to the pen, so I'm not going to do that right now. So I'm going to do another one. This one's a little bit more colorful. It's still kind of wet. Actually, maybe I'll do this one. Yeah, because I really like, I like how this one came out better than this one. So like I said, I might go back in and add some more paint. This has a lot more yellow in it, so I think I'll go ahead and do that now. And I'm just doing a light wash. And towards the end, I will show pictures of how these came out once they're done. Yeah, so I like this one a little bit better now. It has a little bit more going on with the color. And it's more of a dry brush. There's not really a lot of paint on here, so that's a little bit better. I'll do one more. And as far as the India ink, if you wanted to, I didn't use this because you can use one of these India ink pens, a fountain pen, I guess is what they are. And I'm just going to put my ink inside of the, dip it inside. If I can open this, I always have a hard time opening it. I'm just doing some lines here, and then you can do a little shake, a little spray on here. This takes some time to dry, so I'm going to set that aside. I would imagine if you have some rubber stamp ink, in bottles, you might be able to do that. So that's kind of an interesting way to add some texture to that. I'm so burning up. I don't know about you guys, but I get so warm in the summertime, even though it's not really summer technically anymore. I can't, if I have the fan on in here while my video's on, it sounds like a helicopter taking off. So these blobs on here are turning into flowers. And I'm probably going to stop pretty soon because it's getting late here where I am. But if I don't have them all done, I will show you what they look like next week. And if you want me to show you how to do something, let me know. And don't forget to check out my online school down below. I'll have a link. And sign up for my newsletter. That's I'm sending out, I sent out a bunch of emails for the new class, and they've probably all gone out, but so this is what you could do. You could add these envelopes to the side like that. And then just slit it on the side, and you can have a pocket on there for your journal. So it's kind of a fun addition to your junk journals. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will see you in the next video, and don't forget to subscribe and become a part of my Artsy Bohemian online school, where you can learn how to make journals and jewelry, and you can make this journal, learn how to make this journal. This is one of my more popular journal classes. It's actually the only journal class I have on there right now, but it's my French Bohemian Traveler's Junk Journal course. So it's packed, 20 hours of video instruction. Thanks for watching.